Hello, hello there, my crafty friends. It's Candy here from SweetStamper.com. I'm so happy to be with you here tonight for our weekly Facebook Live demonstration. I'm just getting my glare out of the way here and making sure I'm in the right spot. I think I'm broadcasting in my public page versus my private page. Never a dull moment when you're doing Facebook Live, which is effectively live TV. You know, I remember growing up when we actually did have live TV. I guess we still have some. But yeah, there was definitely a different element with live TV. Hey, Kathy, I'm so glad you're here with me tonight. You can see I've got I'm back to my old setup, which seems to just work better. Until I can come up with something a little bit different. I've got a lot of sailboats tonight for you and some butterflies and all kinds of fun things. So we will give it just a minute. I hope that you are having an excellent week. We are already at Thursday. Can you believe it? Now, just a heads up. Next Thursday, I will not be here. I will be in Virginia. If I can make it, I would like to pre-record a video and share it next Thursday. We'll see if I get that done. I have a lot of things to get out in the mail before I leave. Thankfully, I have one of my helpers coming tomorrow, but it is all systems go. We leave Tuesday morning at I think we leave the house at some ungodly hour, 4 a.m. I think. And we have first flight going out to Virginia. We have to change somewhere. There's no direct flights from San Antonio. So I think actually we I think we change in Houston, which is an easy change. And at least when you leave that early in the morning, chances are your flights are running on time. So we leave next Tuesday for Williamsburg, Virginia. We'll be spending time with our daughter and her husband and our 3 oldest grandchildren. Okay, hello, Kim. Thank you both for sharing. Now I'm going to go over a few things. Then we're going to dig into some fun stamping. So I thought it would be fun to demonstrate this fun fold card. It is one of 7 cards in this Summer Vibes class. So I have a class going. It's actually, you can pick 1, 2, or all 3. If you do all 3, you do save 10%. And these are using this stamp set. Now, right now, you cannot get the dies and the embossing folder. They're on back order. Not a problem. All of this stuff is done for you here in my magical studio with my awesome studio helper. So all of that's done for you. You're just going to stamp and assemble. Now, I do recommend, I think it would be hard to do this packet without having this particular sailboat. If you have another sailboat, you might, from a previous, stamp set, you might be able to do it. But honestly, the stamp set's not that much. And if you are a little bit of a font snob, these are fabulous fonts. So many good greetings. So I highly recommend that. So this is one of the 3 classes. Hello, Angela from Lancaster, New Hampshire. Welcome. So this is one of the classes. Then there is a second class you can take, and it actually is this. I don't know where that came from. This is one of our kits collection. It's called Maritime Moments, and I just love it. I love it so much. You make 3 each of these beautiful cards, and you have all of these beautiful printed envelopes to go with them. But you also get this I love this stamp set. You do a little bit of stamping on these cards, but I wanted to do more. So I created 4 cards using this stamp set and the greetings from Sunrise Sailings. So that's where these sweet little, and they're small images, so I thought they would go well on note cards. So again, all of that prep work is done for you. You only need 1 stamp pad for this, and that is Secret C. And then last but not least, so this class comes with its own little stamp set. Now, it doesn't have the greetings, but if you got the greetings from Sunrise Sailing, you're home free. Then, but wait, there is more. And the more is I have been waiting to develop this class, and that glare is going to drive me nuts. So I have a fun fold class featuring the beautiful butterflies, and you do get the stamp set with this. So these are priced really well, I think. And so this one comes with pearls and twine and paper. Yeah, so they all come with a little something to help you make your projects. Okay, so let's go ahead and do this card first. And then I'm going to case myself, and I'm going to use my Candy's Card Club packet to make another one of the same fun fold. I really like this. And I'll tell you one thing for me, I love fun folds as much as every card maker. What I don't care for personally is when the fun fold is so complex that you can't figure out how to open the card. Particularly when I know that most of these cards are going to go to non-card makers. They don't know how the heck to get the thing open. So that's why I did this little pull tab at the top. I thought, well, that's pretty self-explanatory. And I liked this so much, I decided to do the same thing. So what we're going to do, we're going to look at making this kind of a spotlight technique. Here it becomes like kind of a sunrise. And here it's either a moon or it's just a spotlight of where to focus your attention. So let's start with the sunrise sailings. Now, so this is what you get with the card kit. The only thing you don't, that you have to do on this card with your kit is you do have to cut your designer series paper. And in this instance, I actually am using a different piece just for kicks. It's kind of fun. Now, this is the embossing folder I used here. And I wanted to show you, did I bring it? Yeah. This actually appeared on the newly released Last Chance list. Hello, Corinne and Gloria and Marlene. Welcome, welcome. And Kelly's here. Okay. Yay, yay. I think it might be reduced by $1 or $2. I can't remember. I really love this, and I'll show you why. So you might notice a different variation here. That's because I actually used the two-tone here. And this is the lighter version of Cloud Cover. And I'm just increasingly, you'll find in my card packets and stuff, I'm really enjoying using the two-tone cardstock. One of the things I love about this is whether you use the embossed side or the debossed side, I love them both. And this particular piece tonight, I actually caught this little side. I really like this little piece over here that looks a bit like canvas. And this to me looks like palette painting, or palette knife painting, I should say. So we're just going to tuck this in, and I actually want that to show. Now, it would show if I put it over here, but I think I'm going to put it up at the top and just kind of play with it a little bit, see how things look when we do it a little bit differently. I love to kind of change things up when I'm doing a video. One of the things I feel like when I'm doing this is showing you, different things we can do and how we can change things up and make it a little bit different. Now, I will tell you that I did fold this, I scored and folded this at 5.5 and 9 3/4. Okay, now we are going to put this little piece of peach pie, not pumpkin pie, it's peach pie. And I wanted something to really bring in that kind of sunrise, a little bit of a focus on that sunrise piece. So I'm just keeping it super, super simple here. I mean, you could do designer paper, you could do all kinds of things, but I've already got this nice texture here. All of these are incredibly good for guys. I would call these unisex cards, but they're great for the guys. Okay, now, and I'm probably gonna sneeze, so I'm just telling you now. If you hear me sneeze, I apologize. I'm gonna lay this down first. See, I like that texture up there. And then this is from the textured notes, and I forgot my white panels. Let me grab those really quick. Let's see. You know, the white panel is not totally essential. I can only see one handy. So you could put, this is the way I had my original. I like the contrast, but you could do it like this. Let's just kind of try it and play with it and see how we get on. Okay, so this is the textured notes in Early Espresso, and my original has this lighter. I just went ahead and cut this one, so let's see how this goes. Let's see if we like it. I will say, like, this side, to me, it's a little bit too green. So let's go with more of the Early Espresso and see what we think. Let's see. Okay, now, before I do my sponging on here, I'm going to go ahead and lay this down. And what I like to do on this, I want it to lay flat because I've already got, you know, several layers folded back here. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put down 2 strips of seal, and then I can line this up, get it, because I find you can't figure out where you want to put it on the card, on the panel here. So that's my easiest way to do that. Okay, now I do need some, let's see. I don't actually need scrap paper. I just need my little, my little wipey thing. Okay, so let's make a scene here. We are going to take a 1.5 inch circle, which is somewhere. Let's see if I can lay my hand to it. Everything was going great. Let's see if I can find my circle. Well, I'm actually missing my other card packet. I was trying to lay, it's probably right in here. Yep. Okay, I had a lot of things to show you that. There is my stamps, and where are my circles? Well, the best laid plans that Candy has, well, that's a simple enough fix. Well, they're floating around here somewhere. You know, you can use any size circle that you want. I just grabbed my 1.5 because this is fairly narrow here. So I didn't want it to be, you know, too wide. And that's really what's going to dictate the size of your circle. Now, for me, I want this to be like a sunrise. So I want it up here. I'm going to make my water down here. And that stuff falling. I could stick this down. Personally, I'm a bit of a lazy stamper, so I'm just going to hold my finger there and I'll show you what I mean. So I'm going to, for this one, I just have like a few blending brushes because I don't want to have 25 blending brushes. It's just not a storage thing that I want to have to deal with. So I tend to have like one for all the blues, one for all the oranges. And these I bought initially. I will say that after we got the small, I like the smalls better. That is actually my preferred one. So let's start with the sunrise in the sky. And I'm going to use peach pie. And like I said, I'm just going to hold this. We're going to live a little dangerously, and we're just going to hold it. Now, I like having that really come through on the edge. I like, in fact, this one, I'm actually coming through a lot more than I did on my original. So then I'm going to bring it down. I want a bit of a water line. Let's just shift this over here a bit. I want a water line that's going to come near the base of my little panel here, my little die cut. So let's do that. Now, voila, there is my little scene. Now I am going to take, I love this little chamois thing that comes with your Glass Mat Studio. Next to the glass mat, this is my favorite, second favorite piece. Now I am going to put my C right under here, and I'm going to use Misty Moonlight. And I am just, thank you so much for sharing this, Angela. I'm just using a light touch. I'm not getting too fast. I am using circular motions because I find that is really the best way to go about this. Now, I do want this to be not too light. I want to have a depth of color here. Whoopsie. Now you see, sometimes those things just happen. I probably picked up a little piece of who knows what, but I'm just not going to get fussed about it because it's a handmade card. Maybe my little boat will cover it up. Maybe it won't. Either way, I think it's going to look great. So you see where I'm just not going up too close to my sky, so that I have a little bit of a horizon line, not a huge amount, but just a tiny bit. I'm going to leave that Misty Moonlight ink out because I do need to use it for my inside greeting. And let's see. Okay, I think my hands are pretty clean. Okay, so now this will bring back over here, and this is going to go right there. Now you see how the peach pie doesn't look overly orangey here, but it looks more yellowy because you have a lot of shades going there, and that's exactly what we want. We want all those shades. And I think we are going to, can I find my original? Yeah. I think we're going to put this up on dimensionals. Super easy. So you can see, I mean, this doesn't take a long time. I think the die cuts really make a big difference here. If you don't have these textured notes, you must get them. I mean, they are absolute must-have. I like them all the time, but particularly, this is more of a masculine feel on this card, a little bit of a unisex, and I think that for me, on more masculine-leaning cards, I like a lot of texture. So this provides just subtle texture here. Look at that little bit of texture it provides on my little stormy sea, secret sea, I don't know. It's not a stormy sea. It's actually a pretty calm sea. Now, I do want my little tab up here, but before I do that, I think I'll go ahead and get this out of the way. So let's get this stamp. My original, I think I did Best Wishes. This one I'm going to do Congratulations. And like I said, these are beautiful, beautiful fonts. I love them. So I highly recommend just the stamp set. You can get away with just the stamp set unless you want all the dies. Now, the die cuts I'm going to give you for this class. So, and I give you, I offer you that you can get the stamps at catalog price. Well, that means I'm paying your tax and shipping. So when the dies come back, it would be a simple purchase. So I didn't want to get into the drama of that. They're not coming back in until like September the 1st. Well, I need to have this done and dusted well before then. And I called these classes Summer Vibes. But to be honest, these sailboat images, they're very much, you can use these year round. Now my husband is his hometown. I was just talking to his nephew this afternoon because we have a trip there. We're going down there in early November to celebrate my husband's birthday. Oh, isn't that just so pretty? Okay, let's put a little tiny bit of glue here. So my husband his hometown is Vero Beach, Florida. Let me tell you, sailboats are always in vogue, always appropriate. And I think that, it's one of those images people go out on the water in sailboats year round. So I think that although I called this a Summer Vibes class, I think you honestly could do it. These are pretty kind of year-round cards. Okay, so there, and then we're going to take this secret, not secret. See, this one is cloud cover. I get them mixed up. We're going to pop this up on dimensionals like so, and that might flop just a little bit, but I think I'm going to be okay with it. Let's do it like so. Oh yeah, there we go. Now, the last thing we're going to do is we're going to add that little ribbon tab, and we're going to add a few of these gems, and you can tell me if you prefer my original or my second with the lighter designer paper or the darker designer paper. I think I already know which one you're going to like better. Seems like my repeat's always better. I do like that depth of the really high contrast here, but this is softer, so I think they're just kind of different. I don't think one's necessarily better than the other, but I would love to hear what your favorite is. Now, this is that textured white ribbon that I just use all the time. It seems like it's perfect for everything. And I am going to get a little mini glue dot right there. And what I will say with these, with this, let me grab I need a pokey tool. I need a pokey tool and I need some mini glue dots. I have this new little organizer that my team member, Lisa, made for me, but I'm still kind of organizing it. Okay, here we go. And here, okay. Trying to have all my ducks in a row before I started. One of the things I will typically with ribbon, I will typically just press on here, but I find with any kind of a really textured ribbon like this, I actually find it more effective to grab the glue dot and put it on the ribbon. Now, I'm just gonna see it sticking to me. It doesn't quite wanna go on that ribbon, but once you get it there, it'll stay. And we will just loop it like that. I will make a little bit more of a loop than I did the first time. Okay, I have a vote for the darker one. Oh, 2 votes for the darker one. Yeah, you know, I think it really pops against that pumpkin pie. So with this class, you get a little bit of all the patterns of this designer paper, so then you can decide how you want to use them. And give you just a little bit of the designer paper, partly because some of you already have it. So I really wanted you to have enough to make these projects and not have a ton left over. There we go. What do you think? Ribbon tab top fun fold. Super cute, super easy. I would give this to any guy in my life, and very, very proudly. Now, let's case this with the products that I'm using. Hang on. Get ahead of myself here. Okay, now, I scattered them here. I could do something a little different and put them here. Let's just do it for kicks and see what we think. Instead of having them across the card like this, let's see what happens if we put a little row. I will say I do like this little symmetrical row thing, a little row of 3, particularly with more masculine cards. Rather than my kind of not haphazard, more organic look here. So again, just 2 different looks. Okay, Gloria likes the darker one too. So got 3 votes for the darker one. Gotta wet my whistle. And you can tell me whether you like the opal rounds here or here. This is one of the things that you get with this class. I love these because you get, I think they're really like Night of Navy. And then you get these that have just a little bit of a yellow, a little bit of a golden, and then these are clear. So I do like these a lot. kind of pearly, and these have just a tiny bit of gold. Okay, let's move on. We are going to case the Fun Fold. I don't need these ink pads any longer. Now, I will say this class, the link is in the description, and this class, the registration closes tomorrow. So that's one of the reasons I wanted to share that with you. This is Candy's Card Club for the month of August. And this registration actually goes through the 12th. So you have a little bit of time. If you haven't already signed up, you're going to make these 8 cards. I do include envelopes with these. Okay, so Teresa likes the darker one, and she likes the gems in a row as well. Okay, you know, when you just make little changes sometimes, and sometimes when you're making it the first time, you don't even think about the changes. So there's a half a pack of this new, brand new, just released in July, Charming, I think this is called Floral Charm. Hey, Tasha. I'm giving you with the August Card Club, I'm giving you a half pack of this paper. Now, this is the Textured Metallics. It's in our annual catalog, and it has gold. It has copper, and I'm trying to remember what they call this one. It's kind of there's a name for it. It's another kind of metal. So I think one of the things I try to do with my card club is be like a personal shopper. So these are things that I think you may have just missed them. So all of the die cuts using the metallics are done for you, but I'm giving you some to play with and to use, especially with the holidays coming up. I'm thinking, yeah, this little 3 different shades of that. And then you do also get these new, brand new, very fun, there they are. You get these. This is the Charming Dot. So this is actually, these are part of a suite. This is my own little touch that I added in. Okay, so I'm going to use those elements, and we're going to make this card. So my Stamp Club members, they have everything they need for this. They would just have to add their cardstock and whatever embossing folder they wanted here. So we are going to make the same card, the same Fun Fold, more of the masculine here. Now we're going to go more with the feminine here. And let's see, I'm trying to get that glare off. Ay, ay, ay. Let's see if I do this. Will that knock it? I think. Okay, so I'm using the same embossing folder, and the only stamp I'm using is the Happy Birthday, because I'm using, what's cool about this is there are dies that will cut out your stamped images, but there's also a number of these standalone dies, and they're really, really gorgeous. Yeah, I can't hardly fit them in there. Okay, let's see what we come up with. Now, I have several blending brushes here, and I have several colors here, and here's my little card kit. And here's my little circle. Okay, so once again, let's start by taking our card base, and we're going to fold this back. And once again, I'm going to add, now you see this one here, I've got that little textured bit at the top, and on my original, I didn't even have it showing. But I like that little textured bit. So I think we're going to do the same thing on this one. We're going to put it, maybe we'll put it on the side this time, just for variety's sake. So let's put this down with a bit of seal. If you are in Texas, it is tax-free weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and I highly recommend that you do a big adhesive order, because you will have it tax-free. And here in San Antonio, that's 8.125%, almost 10%, which I think is pretty nice savings. Okay, this is down. Now I'm going to do another little difference. So this is just a little 4 1/4 by 1 inch piece, and I did it in Pretty Peacock, picking up this peacock in the designer paper. Well, when I was prepping this, I thought, you know what? Let me try this. Again, is that two-tone. This is the two-tone Blackberry Bliss. I could do that, but I think I'm going to do this light, and I think it's going to look really cool, and I don't have my piece of designer paper. Ay, Candy. Okay, give me 1 second. I will return. Holy cow. Let's just live really dangerously here. Let's see what it's going to look like if we add this piece instead of the original piece. So let's do that. And that is going to be 4.5 by 2 3/4. Let's do that. Okay, let's go there, and let's go here, and that should do it. Okay, let's just change it up. This was the first pattern that I noticed, so I think this will work, except I cut it too narrow. Candy. Okay, what did I do? It should have been like 3. Let's see. Oh yeah, should have been almost 3. Okay. Okay, now we're cooking with gas. Let's just see. I think that's going to work nicely because we've got a lot of purple, shadings of purple there. And then one of the things I like when you have a busy paper like this is if you cover it and let it be the background instead of the foreground or the focal point. I think it's a very effective look. Okay, so let's go ahead and put this down. This is our two-tone cardstock. And we're going to put the light side up. This is just a 1-inch strip, and I'm going end to end on the card front, so it's 4 1/4 by 1. Now, you know, when you take any of these classes from me, you get full PDF tutorials, has all of the measurements and the supply list and the step-by-step instructions. Now, once again, I am going to put the seal here directly on my card front so that when I go to put this panel down, I don't have to wonder where to put it. Well, I have to kind of angle it and get it positioned, but that's really hard to do when you don't know where to put the if you don't know where to put the adhesive on the back. Now, oh, that's a really pretty piece too, but focus, Candy. Let's stay focused. Okay, here we go. Let's put this piece in. Now, this is actually a good exercise because my card club members are going to get a half a pack of this paper. And so now you can see how it's going to look with 2 different patterns, because they will have enough to do their projects and then a little bit left over. Now, what I'm going to start with here, on my original that I'm casing, I had a kind of a sunrise scene with the water. This time I'm going to do all one color and do kind of just like a spotlight. So I'm still going to take my 1.5-inch circle. This time I'm going to take my blending brush and I'm going to use my lightest color in this set of papers. And I don't want to get that. I'm going to use Bubble Bath. So let's go with Bubble Bath. This time, because I don't have water, I'm not like making a scene with water and sky. I'm just going to put it at about the center. And once again, I typically will start my my blending brush off to the side. Now you can really build your color with this because I don't want it to be too pale. But I want it to be soft. So where my C scene was pretty bold. You know, I had a bold sunrise and I had a bold deep blue sea, as it were. Now I want it to be quite soft, but I do want to get right close to that circle. Now again, if you feel unsteady about it, or if you're a little bit more precision oriented, you could definitely put a little bit of temporary adhesive behind your circle, or you could just use a sticky note and punch out your sticky note. I tend to be a lazy stamper, and so I fully admit I want the quick and easy. I want to just grab it and go with it. I just want to stamp. I just want to put the ink on there. I don't want to have to fuss. So I just grab it and go. I will say, especially once you get this far along, you can pretty easily, if your circle shifted, you can pretty easily put it back in its place. I do like getting those edges really well done because it brings out this, not really stitching, but the texture on the edges. Okay, now let's see. Voila, I love it. Okay, now I'm going to use that this color one more time. Where did my little flower go? Here it is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start this on my flower, and I'm just going to, you do have to be a little bit mindful that this flower, the stem is quite delicate, and you don't want your blending brush action to start ripping your stem. So you do have to be a little bit mindful. Now, let me just show you. See, this would actually be very pretty, but I'm going to bring in more color. So it just kind of depends on the look that you're wanting to create. So now that was Bubble Bath. Now I'm going to bring in Berry Burst, because this is the pinks. These are the pinks that are in the designer paper. And this is going to help me to have that very cohesive look. Now, I don't want too much, but I am going to go around the edges here. Woo, I got a little bit much there, but that's okay. And then I'm just going to bring it, just kind of bounce it a little bit so that it fills in that center just a wee bit. You know what, did that? I wonder if my die cut shifted just a little bit. Well, it'll be okay. Now, because I'm going to shift colors here, I am going to get rid of this Berry Burst. I do not want it going into my, what do I have here? Oh, Mossy Meadow. I do not want it going into that. Now, I will say, you know, on my original here, this is Mossy Meadow. This actually has more of a shaded spruce, Shy Shamrock action, so I might just switch out that green because this is a very yellowy green. These are more bluey greens. So let me just grab that different ink, and I'm gonna go with Shy Shamrock. To me, Shy Shamrock is like the lighter version of Shaded Spruce. Kim, I'm so glad you like the layouts and the techniques. You know, I think it's fun when you can have a cool layout and a cool technique all in one fell swoop. I like it. I'm digging it. So let's bring in another one of my green brushes, and let's start over here and see. And again, I'm going to just hold. I don't want to kill. I don't want to kind of take off the leaves of my, oh yeah, that's pretty. It's a brighter green. I don't want to take the leaves off my stem. So you just have to be a little bit careful. And you can see how you can either build the color here, or you can just keep it kind of light. Either way, it's going to look nice. Looks really pretty and fresh with that pink, doesn't it? I love pinks and greens together. Okay, I tend to really lean towards yellowy greens, but this bluey green, I will say Shy Shamrock is a really good one. So let's just bring it right up here. I'm kind of really saturating that, that stem. I'm actually trying to get these sepals a little bit. Okay. So since I saturated that stem, let's just kind of bring that down so it doesn't look like a mistake. Let's just bring it down the rest of the way. I think that's going to look really, really good. Okay, so we changed the color on that because we're using a different piece of Designer Series paper, and it kind of warranted a slightly different. Now somehow that pink is a little bit, let's see if that's going to work. Let me show you what we can do if we need to bring the shade down just a wee bit. Okay, so before we stick it down, I like it, but let's see how it looks when I start putting it over this paper. If it's too pink, it's a little bit on the pinky side. So I think what we're going to do is put the tiniest bit of Black Previous, just the tiniest little bit. Or I could even do Fresh Freesia. Let's just bring that pink down a wee bit. And I don't know how I did that, but somehow my, when I was die cutting this, I think I this must have been angled off and I didn't realize it because I had a pretty big piece of white. So I'm just going to round this edge so it doesn't look like I cut it off. So let's see if I can just tiny little cut that off. Oh yeah, that's better. Now you can't really tell, not as much. Probably nobody else would notice it. Okay, let's see if we can bring that pink down just a little bit. In fact, maybe I grabbed Berry Burst and maybe I should have grabbed Fresh Freesia. Let's give it a try. Oh, you know what? I bet it was Petunia Pop. Let's try Petunia Pop. Let's give it a little. I'm going to do it right here to see. Oh yeah, that's I think what I used on my original, and I just had my colors mixed up a little bit. So let's just see if we can bring this to a little bit more purpley. Oh, I'm glad you like it, Jolene. I hope I'm not going to kill my color scheme here. I'm actually trying to blend it down. Oh, I think it's actually going to look really good. But that just shows you how you can take and you can keep blending. I love the blending brushes. To be honest, they're more forgiving than our blender pens, or not blender pens, blends markers. Got to get my lingo right here. Speaking of, blends markers are another item if you are shopping the tax-free weekend. Blends markers count as school supplies. Okay, this one's going to be a little different than our original, but I think it's good. I like it. It's see, this one's very soft and muted. This one's much deeper, but I do like them both. I don't think it's an either or. Now, I will also say you have more white here because of the panel. I'm going to leave it off this one. Now, to be fair, I forgot to cut the panel, but there is plenty. This is a light cardstock. It's very easy to write on that. So let's go ahead and pop this on Dimensionals. And I'm so glad that you guys are liking this, digging this. And I'm going to show you another little thing I'm going to change on here because it's just fun to have options. And I know some of y'all are like, I don't like, having to make a whole lot of one card. Well, this is the way you can kind of change things up a little bit. Personally, I'm happy to make a lot of one. And I like to do them all original as well. So I think it kind of depends on how the mood strikes you. Okay. So this is going to go right like so. And then we're going to use just a tiny bit of liquid glue. Is a must on this because it's so tiny. And these little leaves are so delicate because they have that little texturing down the center. So, you can't really, you don't want your adhesive to ooze out of that. So you do have to be a little bit careful there. Let's put that there. Now, when I lift this, I'm I'm actually going to clean this off because I don't want that glue to pick up on my card. So I'm just going to wipe that away. And then we are going to put this like so. Oh, I'm liking it. I'm liking it. Okay. Now, on my original, whoopsie, sorry, because I'm using the same elements I did on Club, and I could, and I might just use the same ones. Believe it or not, these are here, but they kind of start picking up the colors. The other thing you can do is if you have these purple gems, I'm thinking that there is one shade in here that might look even better. Let's see what we can do. Maybe not better's not the word, maybe just different. These purple gems carried over from last year. They are in our annual catalog. And you see how, well, you see, I take these to my card classes. Some of them are more like Gorgeous Grape, and some of these are more like Blackberry Bliss. And I'm just thinking with all this Blackberry Bliss here that these might just look really, really nice. So, and I kind of like, I don't know if you guys do this very much, I like sometimes not having a greeting on the outside. It's like, okay, I have to open this card to figure out what it's about. And I like that. Sometimes we get so hung up on having the greetings on the outside, and I'm thinking, there's a lot going on here. I don't need a greeting on the outside too. I do like that very deep color. I think it looks really, really good there. Okay, now I just need my little ribbon tab, and we are done and dusted. So you have two phenomenal ideas for your card making. This one uses all the supplies for Candy's Card Club. So if you have not joined the club yet, we do have room for you. And then this class here, my Summer Vibes class, there's 3 different classes. This is one of them, 7 cards, includes everything you need except the stamps, all the die cuts. I want to say it's like $36. I thought it was a pretty good deal. 7 cards. 7 card kits plus a little bit of paper and some gems, these dots and these. That registration does close tomorrow, so I have to get that one in the mail before I leave. Let's see. Here we go. Once again, my top tip for using any kind of a textured, like a furry textured ribbon, like it has like, it's not hairy, but you know what I mean. It's not slick ribbon. You want to use a glue dot and you want to put it right on the ribbon because otherwise it doesn't want to stick. But once you get it down and you like press to adhere, then it works great. Because with ribbon, you want to have a dry adhesive. I do not personally like putting any kind of a liquid adhesive on ribbon because it kind of like wilts your ribbon. Okay. Now I'm going to tuck that right under here like so. Oh, I'm really happy with this now. I need to put my greeting on the inside. Okay, I don't have a greeting on the outside. I am going to put one on the inside. You wouldn't have to, but I do happen to have, where'd it go? Haha, got happy birthday right here. And I have my Berry Burst ink right here. And we're going to go here. And I'm just going to not put a panel on the inside. I will also say, you know, as much as I love inside panels, because I think a lot of times, more often than not, they make it look a little bit more finished on the inside. And I put this up pretty high because I also have to be aware when I'm signing this card that I don't go too far down. But also, when you're looking at mailing your cards, you don't want so many layers and so much thickness that you have to add extra postage. Personally, I'm a big fan of forever stamps, and I try to send just about everything with a forever stamp. Now, obviously, if you're sending, like I remember last year when our great niece got married, I sent her a really large, like a 5x7 card. It had to be in different, you know, handmade envelope. It had a lot of thickness. That's different. But for most cards like this, I want it to go for a single stamp. Let me do it this way. There's my original, and there is my demonstration card. 2 different looks, the same layout. And let me bring these here, and I will bring these here. And I will get that out of the way, and I will get that awful Okay, so here is original, demonstration, original, and demonstration. All the same layout, the same fun fold, the same little, I guess, spotlight. Here it's a spotlight or a moonbeam, a moonlight. And here, like these are like moonflowers, and here they are like sunrises. So any way you slice it, I think it's a very useful technique. It doesn't take much time and adds a lot of wow factor to your cards. Thank you so much for tuning in. Again, I will not be live next week. I'm hoping to have a pre-recorded video here, but I will be in Virginia. I am going to be sharing some pictures here on my Sweet Stamper page, me with my grandkids and me with my daughter and the granddaughters. Yeah, we get the 3 generations going. Those fun photos. They do live in historic Williamsburg, so that's going to be cool as well. And so I will be sharing photos. So be sure that you've liked my page here on Sweet Stamper. Then you get notifications when I'm going live and when I'm posting things, which I do post throughout the week. Once again, this Summer Vibes set of 3 classes. This is one of the 3. Registration closes tomorrow. It's the last day. I'm getting these out the door. I'm shipping them out on Monday. Card Club, you actually have until Tuesday, which is the day I'm leaving. So Card Club will not ship out until I get home. That is it for tonight. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for your feedback. I love hearing what you like and what your suggestions are. And of course, if you have any questions at all. That's it. Don't forget to follow me here on Facebook. And if you're on YouTube, be sure to subscribe to my channel. Thanks again from Candy, sweetstamper.com. Take care and God bless.